The melody began with a single trembling note, thin as a breath, floating through the hotel atrium where glass and steel usually swallowed sound. People were talking, cups clinked, heels clicked, and then everything seemed to pause. The CEO, walking briskly with her phone raised and her mind already 3 meetings ahead, stopped mid-step as if an invisible hand had closed around her wrist. Her eyes widened. That opening phrase was impossible. It belonged to a summer she had buried under years of success, to a boy who once promised her a future with nothing but a battered piano and a song he said he would never play for anyone else. And yet here it was, alive, unfolding beneath the fingers of a single dad who looked like he had nothing left to lose. He hadn't planned to play. He had come only because the lobby had a piano and his daughter, Lily, loved to sit beside him when he practiced quietly, pretending the polished floor was a stage. He wore a faded jacket and carried exhaustion the way some men carried confidence, casually, without complaint. Lily sat on the bench, swinging her legs, humming along to a tune she had known since before she could read. It was the song that calmed her fevers, that filled the small apartment when the power went out, that made the nights after her mother passed feel less empty. He had written it once, long ago, for a girl who believed in him when believing was easy. He had never told Lily where it came from. To her, it was just the brave song, because it always made her feel less afraid. When his fingers touched the keys, the atrium changed. The melody grew, patient and hopeful, then dipped into a quiet ache that made strangers slow their steps. The CEO stood frozen, her assistant whispering her name, her phone slipping from her hand. The song didn't just sound familiar, it remembered her. It remembered the way she laughed on the steps of a music school she never finished, the letters she never answered, the promise she broke when ambition seemed safer than love. Her chest tightened. She turned and saw him then, older, thinner, shoulders curved by responsibility. He looked up at the end of the phrase, searching for Lily's smile, and their eyes met. The years between them fell away, and the room held its breath. He faltered, missing a note, and Lily squeezed his hand. "It's okay, Dad," she whispered. He smiled and continued, unaware of the storm he had stirred. The CEO took a step closer, her heart pounding, afraid that if she spoke the song would shatter. She had built an empire, but this melody was undoing her brick by brick. When the final chord lingered, applause broke out, hesitant at first, then warm and genuine. He nodded politely, embarrassed, and began to close the piano lid. That was when she spoke his name, softly, like a confession. He froze. No one had said his name that way in years. They talked in a quiet corner while Lily traced patterns on the marble floor. He told her about the life he hadn't planned, the late nights, the medical bills, the teaching jobs that paid in coins and gratitude. He told her he played in lobbies sometimes because music still opened doors when nothing else did. She told him about the company, the awards, the loneliness that success doesn't photograph. She didn't explain why she had left, some reasons are too heavy for words. Instead, she asked about the song. He looked at Lily and said it had grown up, just like he had. She watched him leave with his daughter, the song echoing behind them, and for the first time in years, she felt something like fear, not of failure, but of regret. The next morning, the internet carried the melody farther than the atrium ever could. A video of the single dad and his daughter went quietly viral, not for perfection but for honesty. People shared it with messages about hope and loss and starting again. The CEO watched it alone, replaying the part where Lily leaned against her father, safe in the sound he made for her. She made a decision before the day could fill her with excuses. Weeks later, the same piano waited in a smaller hall, this time prepared for a benefit concert she had insisted be organized quickly. The hook that night wasn't the announcement or the lights, it was the question everyone carried as they took their seats: would he play it again? He stood backstage, hands shaking, Lily in a simple dress holding his sleeve. He worried the song would feel different under expectation, that it might betray them. Then the CEO stepped beside him, not as a boss but as a woman asking for courage. She told him she hadn't come to reclaim the past, only to honor it, and to help the future he was building with his daughter. He sat, breathed, and began. The melody was steadier now, fuller, shaped by years of endurance. Lily closed her eyes, and the audience leaned forward. When the bridge arrived, something new entered the song, a second piano, joining gently. The CEO was playing with him, hands careful, listening more than leading. The two parts didn't compete, they carried each other. The music told a story of choices made and roads rejoined, not as lovers chasing a lost ending, but as people choosing kindness over pride. When the last note faded, the silence felt holy. Then applause rose, not thunderous but deep, the kind that lingers. The funds raised that night paid for Lily's treatments and scholarships for young musicians who had more heart than money. The CEO didn't make a speech about destiny. She simply thanked a man for a song that had waited patiently for its time. He thanked her for hearing it again. Years later, Lily would say she learned two things from that night: that love can change shape without disappearing, and that courage sometimes sounds like a piano in a place you never meant to play. The song lived on, not as a memory that froze people in their tracks, but as a promise that even when life pulls us apart, compassion can bring us back to the same melody, stronger, wiser, and ready to be shared.